Welcome back, everybody, for another CBSI Hot 10 show. Make sure you go over to comicbookinvest.com and check out the list in the article where I might put a few extra details and tidbits that I might forget to cover here on the show tonight. Also, check out all the great content over there, as well as all the content we have here on the channel. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And for those of you who haven't tried Whatnot yet, make sure you use my link down below and get yourselves a free $15 to spend on whatever you want with whomever you want. No strings attached. $15 for you to spend on whatever you like. You help the channel and you get yourself something nice. So you really got nothing to lose there. And if you're in the market to stock up on your supplies, use my link and my code RENA10 to get yourself 10% off, because while you got to spend that money to get your bags, your boards, your short boxes, long boxes, top loaders, BCW card pages, whatever you need to keep your collectibles and comics safe, you hate spending that money. So while you do, you might as well save yourself some money. So save that 10%, use that code RENA10, and get yourself all stocked up for this holiday season. Now, with that all said, if you just want to see the list, don't worry. I'll be back after this short little intro to run down the list for you. So just hang tight, all right?
Notable sales.
All right, my first notable sale of the week is a personal favorite of mine. Yes, I am biased. I am an Adam Hughes fan, and I do like this cover. I know a lot of people like to make fun of her hands and call her man hands, like that Seinfeld episode, but I don't care. I dig this cover. This is Teen Titans number 75, the 1 in 25 incentive variant that Adam Hughes did from back in the day, and this is here in the notable sale list because it hit at auction a new all-time high at over $1,700. It's been creeping up over the past year or so, and who knows where the ceiling is going to be on this one, but it's getting pricey. It's getting pricey. But like I said, it's a great cover in my opinion. I dig it, so I'm a little biased. I get it. I still have my copy. I bought it off of John Z years back, and I'm still holding on to it because I got it for me, and I'm keeping it for me. But with that said, I do have another one that kind of stood out, another really cool cover, sticking with DC, and this is another 1 in 25, but this one was by J.G. Jones. This is that steampunk Wonder Woman cover for Wonder Woman number 28. I mean, the whole month they did those special steampunk kind of like throwback covers, and some of them are more sought after than others. But this J.G. Jones 1 in 25 is a fun one. It's a great cover. It's sought after, and this one also hit an all-time high this week, selling for $2,400. So $2,400 for a 9/8 is that new high water mark for this one. So both of these classic DC variants are doing quite well these days. So I wonder if that's a signal of things to come. I don't know. But these two did stand out for me this week, and I thought that they were worth mentioning, hitting those new all-time highs. So, with that said, I guess we can just roll on and get right into the main list.
Number 10.
At number 10, we do have a high ratio incentive. We have that Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn number 1, the 1 in 50 black and white variant by Todd McFarlane. Not a ton of these out there. I mentioned this on the Wednesday watch list that I didn't even see a lot being listed, but it's making the mark here, albeit with very low volume. It's only about a half dozen sold, but there's not a lot of them out there. And those that are selling, they're selling above that ratio mark. So it's still worth noting that the few that did sell are already grabbing above that 1 in 50 ratio mark. Because when I say at ratio, if it's a 1 in 50, you started off at $50. It's kind of a baseline price. Here, averaging $70 right out of the gate after only 2 days on the market, hitting highs of $80. So again, I get it. Half a dozen sales doesn't seem like a lot, but we're also talking about only a day and a half's worth of sales by the time I'm recording this list and running this down for you. So it is notable, and it is something to keep an eye on as the weekend and the week continues. So with that said, keep an eye on this 1 in 50. It is Spawn. McFarlane has his diehards. He's got a cult of followers who will buy and chase after every cover and comic that they can get. So wouldn't be surprised to see this one lingering around for a little bit longer. But with that said, let's keep it rolling and get on to our next book.
Number 9.
So, with more and more rumors and announcements and teases of who's going to be showing up in the next few Avengers movies, Agent Carter, Peggy Carter, Captain Carter is rumored to be showing up in the next Avengers movie, maybe Avengers Doomsday. We're still dealing with wrapping up the multiverse, so we could see her playing that Captain Carter character we saw in What If. That would be awesome, in my opinion. A lot of rumors and a lot of speculation, but we are seeing Haley Atwell coming back, so we can guess and speculate on who she's going to be coming back as. With that said, it's starting a little bit of a rumble with that Exiles 3, her first comic book appearance for that version of the character. Again, Peggy Carter's been around a while. So if you want to get Peggy Carter's first appearance, you got to go back a ways. But if we're going to narrow it down and hope just to see that Captain Carter character, that's where people are turning towards this Exiles #3 book. Yes, there is that 1 in 10 awesome animation cover. That thing's like over $200 or around $200 right now, raw. Meanwhile, we got about a dozen sales so far this week after a couple of days following those announcements / rumors. So averaging about $20, hitting a high of 30. It's standing out again, considering none sold last week. So none sold. So news is driving sales. It's just starting. Will it continue? We'll see. But as of right now, it's notable enough to make that bottom of the list spot here at number 9, even with CGC 9/8 hitting $130. This thing has come around the cycle before. We've seen it before, so we'll see if it starts making new highs or if it just levels off here or where it goes. But it is notable in what's happened, so that's why it's coming in that number 9 spot this week. Now, with that said, let's keep it going and see what we got for you next.
Number 8.
Climbing off the outside, looking in, we have Frankenstein. So the Seven Soldiers Frankenstein, issue number 3, the first appearance of the Bride in comics. Yes, she's a standout character, I would say, in that Creature Commandos cartoon, the animated series on HBO Max. I still have to watch the newest episode that dropped yesterday, but I'm loving the series so far. I like her character a lot. Hope they show her in live action and we get more beyond just this animated series. I didn't know what to expect from this series, but DC has knocked it out of the park, in my humble opinion, with this series. I like it. It's got humor. It's got a good story. I'm digging it. That said, this issue 3 was on the outside looking in because there were a handful of sales. It started to make a little bit of noise, but this week, again, only about a dozen so far, but it's averaging $25, even hitting a high of 40. So this is one of those slow tricklers because I think a lot of people have a hard time digging them out of their back issue boxes and finding this book. So it's not as readily available as some of the other firsts and books that have been spec'd on for a while. This is kind of one of those forgotten books that people got to dig a little bit further. It's in that box buried beneath the next box. It's somewhere back there. You just got to find it. That kind of thing. Now, with that said, we're going to keep it rolling and see what we got here at lucky number 7.
Number 7.
And maintaining that number 7 spot is the same book that we had here last week. This is the Thundercats Apex number 1, the Mark Spears cover, the FOC reveal cover. Gorgeous cover. Cool, interesting character. People are kind of digging it there. I think it's a futuristic lion or something. If I'm spoiling things, I apologize. But this book is still selling very well. It made the list with a little bit of volume last week. This week, it's selling a bit stronger with about 30 sales, averaging $30 still. Average is still kind of close to the same, but the volumes are way up, high of 45. Now, the foil and virgin incentives, the 1 in 10 and 1 in 15 respectively, are both doing around $80 at highs. Like there's some $60, some $70 sales, kind of mixing it in, but it is Dynamite. They do those extra ratios, so keep an eye out for those versions of this cover, but even just the regular open order version FOC cover is doing, again, averages of 30, highs of 45. So this book is doing well for itself. Something to keep an eye on. Maybe it's something you can still go and grab off the shelf at your LCS if you get lucky. I don't know. But with that said, let's keep it going and see what we got for you next.
Number 6.
Number 6, it's another repeat, and it's another Mark Spears cover. Yes, Spears is on the list again because his covers are still selling very well on the market. Things beyond just monsters. It seemed to be monsters for just a while, but now a lot of folks are reaching and looking for other things. They're going back to his Spawn books. They're going back to some of the other covers that he's doing for other publishers, including DC with some of these incentives. Now, this incentive is from just last week. It's that Superwoman special, the 1 in 25. It's a cool cover. It's got Lobo on it. It's got Lois the Superwoman. Can't go wrong there. 20 plus sales again. After last week's volumes, we got another 20 plus sales. It's now averaging $85 strong for a 1 in 25, highs of 105. This thing is getting pricey. And again, I mentioned it last week. This is a one-shot incentive book, so there's a good chance that not a lot of shops ordered enough to qualify for that 1 in 25 incentive mark because it's not a regular run book. It's a special. It was something that they could have easily skipped over or just said, we don't need it here, or we don't need that many. Just saying. So with that and the popularity right now, I'm not surprised to see the prices going where they are. Have they hit the ceiling? I don't know. We'll see as things go moving forward, but for now, still very impressive. But since it's a repeat, it did drop a couple of spots down the list, despite the fact that the price did go up because we had to make room for some of these other books. And if you want to see what those other books in the top half of the list are, don't worry. I'm going to get to them right now.
Number 5.
So at number 5, we have another old book coming back, not because of any Edge of the Spider-Verse movie news, but because of Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals has become a force in selling comic books for us. It's an odd thing. Certain characters are just capturing people's attention. They're, I guess, becoming fan favorites for players. I don't know. And just driving people to go back and find those first appearance comic books. And one of those is Penny Parker here in Edge of Spider-Verse number 5. So we do expect to see her back in the next Across the Spider-Verse or Beyond this, whatever the next Spider-Verse movie is. I can't remember what it's called, but once we get to that third part of the animated trilogy, we'll probably see her again. But for now, Marvel Rivals is moving this cover in this book. Yes, there is an incentive variant too, but we're just talking about the regular cover A with about a couple dozen sold, averaging $40, hitting 50, CGC 9/8 around $130 for a book that had been forgotten about. I think there was only like 4 sales last week thereabouts, and now we're seeing volumes begin because Marvel Rivals, any character rumored to be showing up, there's leaks and just announcements and teases and all kinds of things. A lot of attention around that game. I tried it. It ain't bad. I'm a little old for it. I don't think I can keep up with the youngins with my reaction time and playing a game like that. But if you like Overwatch, you'll dig Marvel Rivals because I believe it has the same setup. With that said, let's keep it going and check out our next book on the list.
Number 4.
So coming in here at number 4, we have another new high ratio incentive book. This one is for Sonic the Hedgehog, number 75, the 1 in 50 incentive. Yes, the 1 in 10 is also doing well, as is the 1 in 25. Both of them doing above ratio marks for them. But the reason why I have the 1 in 50 on the list isn't because a ton of volume. To be fair, I only counted 7 sales over the last 2 days to get us here. So it's not a lot of volume, but the prices this thing is hitting, averaging $120 for a 1 in 50, even hitting a high of 150 was too large to ignore. So we're not talking about 1 or 2 sales. It's still over half a dozen. It's just these numbers are way above what I would have expected as far as ratio sales go. So something to keep an eye on. It's another one of those cases where this is a title that's been around a while. Yes, it's an anniversary issue. It's issue 75, but it wasn't like there were 100 different variant covers that helped stores get up to those higher ratio marks. I believe there's only a couple of open order covers. So ordering 50 was probably not on the books for a lot of shops. A lot of shops probably didn't hit 1 in 25s. So could be tough to find. Yes, there are like 3 or 4, I think, listed currently, all of which are asking closer to that 150 than anything. So the prices and the ask right now are pretty high. I think there's one at auction that's already pretty high up with still a few days to go. So who knows where the ceiling is on this one. But again, with these high averages right out of the gate, even with the kind of low volume, I still had to put it pretty high on the list this week because of those prices. So coming in at number 4, Sonic the Hedgehog, that 1 in 50. Impressive sales. And I think a lot of folks are excited for the movie coming out this weekend with Sonic 3. So all of these things playing together lead to bigger prices. Yeah, don't know if it can hang on to those prices, but for now, the heat and the fervor, I guess, is there. And we'll see how well that Sonic 3 movie does this weekend at the box office too. Now, with that said, we still have our top 3 coming to you right now.
Number 3.
So, yesterday we did get the teaser trailer for James Gunn's Superman. We got a teaser of the teaser trailer on Wednesday, but we got the teaser trailer yesterday. And granted, it didn't show us a lot, but it did show us enough. And one of the standouts I personally think from that trailer, and probably going to be for the movie ahead, is Crypto. I mean, dogs are just lovable, and they're lovable characters. You're probably gonna have a hard time not liking Crypto once that movie comes out. But even in the trailer, him dragging Soups off was a cool little scene, cool little image in that tiny little bit that we got. So we could be looking at Crypto's first appearances, but I think a lot of people just love going back to this iconic Crypto cover, this Alex Ross on Superman 680. This is a book, and this like one shot, one story here, focusing it on Crypto is just is a book that a lot of people like to go back to. So Superman 680 is seeing a lot of action this week with over 30 sales or around 30 sales, averaging $20, hitting highs of 35 already. CGC 9.8s, 125. Not bad for a book that I don't think was doing anything last week. So again, just that little bit in that trailer was enough to remind people about Crypto, and they went running after this book. So pretty strong showing so far. We'll see if it maintains going into next week. But there is our number 3. Now, with that said, let's see what our runner-up is.
Number 2.
And coming up in that runner-up spot at number 2 is last week's top book, and that is that Ultimate Universe 1 Year In spoiler cover featuring Ultimate Wolverine. We know we're getting an Ultimate Wolverine series starting just next month. In just a few weeks, he's going to be getting his own title. But here is that first appearance, that spoiler cover, that Barry Windsor Smith Weapon X homage cover here. Pretty cool. A lot of people gravitating towards this one for this book. Alessandro Capuccio, if I'm saying that right. But again, another 100 plus sold. I gave up counting again after a while. Tons of volume. Averaging prices are pretty close to where they were last week, in that $50 to kind of $25 high kind of range. So the prices aren't necessarily going up, and the volumes are pretty consistent, but the volumes are so much higher than anything else right now, it's kind of standing out away from the pack. So pre-sales of 9.8s are also being thrown out there around that $60 to $65 mark to start. So we'll also see where that one goes in the future. But for now, this is still a book that's moving pretty strong. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of how Absolute Batman 1 did, where it just kind of hit that mark and it stayed there for a while. Will it continue? Will it start to creep up like Absolute Batman did? I don't know. But for now, it's still selling strong in at that $15 to $25 price. So keep an eye out for that particular cover there. And we'll see if any of that heat starts spreading to the other covers. As of now, with so many different covers, it's hard to tell to see if there's anything else beyond that. But I think it's really because of that cover appearance. That's what's driving the sales on this particular one. But with that said, we still got one more book left, and let's see what our top book of the week is.
And our number 1.
And coming in at number 1 this week is a book I told you to keep an eye on last week. Yes, all those Hydra Cap books were selling at first, but I said, don't be surprised if maybe he's going to be Nomad. Again, I don't think we got any confirmations of anything yet. So all of this is still pure speculation on everyone's part. But we just know Chris Evans will be back. Who or exactly what he'll be playing, we don't know. Hell, he could be Johnny Storm again for all we know. But Captain America 180, the first appearance of Nomad, is now starting to move in decent amounts of volume, and the prices are starting to tick up a little bit here, as you can see, with, yes, about 40 plus sales, which may not be as strong as the Ultimate Wolverine book that we just talked about, but considering where this one was, this wasn't selling anywhere close to that last week. But 40 plus sales, averaging about $45 in that kind of low to mid-grade kind of range, because a lot of them are kind of in that range. But highs of 125 raw. CGC 9.6, almost $400. Did not see any 9.8 sales yet, but I don't know how many 9.8s are going to come to market for a book like this, because, yes, we got the black cover, but it's just a classic book. It's Nomad, but we'll see where this one goes. Again, until we get confirmation of anything, I'd be wary, but it seems like people are getting excited regardless. So excitement starts driving comic sales. Who am I to argue? It makes collecting and digging kind of fun. So, with that said, we'll see where this one ends up next week, and we'll see what new stuff comes our way next week. But I can tell you right now to stick around after I'm done here for the boys on the qualified, as Mark Spears, yes, he had a couple of books on the list just now. He's back. He's back again to hang out with the boys on the qualified to talk about some of the things he's got going on as his Kickstarter's wrapping up, and he's got a few things on the way too that are pretty cool and pretty exciting. So, with that said, stick around for the boys and Mark Spears as soon as I'm done here, and make sure you check out all the other shows here on the channel. Enjoy your holiday. I don't know how many shows I'm going to be able to put out through the holidays, but we'll do our best to still keep giving you guys content, and we'll be back up and running at full steam again once 2025 hits. But with that said, I'll see you all later with some more content. All right.